Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I rise to make my contribution to this critical report of Finance Bill of Mandera County Government 2025. Mr. Speaker, I make my contribution for obvious reason because this bill stands at the very heart of the county's physical survival and development. Mr. Speaker, before I proceed with my contribution, I would like to take this House through a reflection of what our country, Kenya, has gone through in the recent past. For example, you remember 2023-2024 Finance Bill. You remember those incidents that had happened to us as a nation. Mr. Speaker, I want to take you through that history, if you allow me, because something called Finance Bill nowadays is a very serious thing. And we have to make our point so that the public and our colleagues will understand where we are driving from. Finance Bill is a very critical thing of late in Kenya. It is something, it has become a confrontation between an economic necessity and public perception. And we are unable to balance the two. The public perception against the Finance Bill is so bad that, you know, we are unable to survive as a country. So, Mr. Speaker, we are supposed to be seriously analyzing, we are required to be serious, as already said by the chair of the Budget and Appropriation Committee, when it comes to discussing such important document. Mr. Speaker, the story that I want to remind this House is that imagine of being elected or being sworn to the highest office in a nation, and the highest position one can be given in every sovereign nation is a presidency. Imagine of being elected to the office of the president with the millions of hopes resting on your shoulders, millions of hopes for others resting on your shoulders because you have made a bold promises to uplift the nation which you have asked for election. Then the new president, with a lot of full of promises and goodwill, walks into the national treasury and finds, while he is anticipating, while he looking for a resource to make those hopes real, and then he end up in finding an empty till and a mountain of debts staring back at him like an invited guest, Mr. Speaker. How will that situation look like? Mr. Speaker, our President, Dr. William Samoei Ruto, has found himself in that kind of situation. A situation we call in economics a perfect economic storm, where the promises he has carried is on his shoulders. On his right hand, they are the debt that he has inherited. On the left hand, there is an empty coffer. In front of him, there is a shrinking revenue. Behind him, if you look at his behind, there is a realistic expectation. Then when he looks at the wall, Mr. Speaker, there are alarms and sirens of interest rates tickling like a time bomb, Mr. Speaker. What will you do? And if he, from outside, he could hear a knock on the door, probably by IMF, asking for their repayment of the money, Mr. Speaker. What will someone do? And especially when he is a president and he is expected to pay the salary. He is expected to build the road. He is expected to equip the hospital. He is expected to educate the student. Mr. Speaker, I think the President of this Republic of Kenya has taken a very painful but realistic decision of finance reform. He has called upon the IMF, and he told them, just like he went to the IMF, just like a man who has gone to borrow sugar from the neighbor, and he told them, look, I have just come in, and I have a big family of about 50 million population which have no food on the table or in the house. Help me find out solution to this. Then the IMF, like a strict parent, told him while leaning on his chair, Mr. President William, go back home and bring your books before we give you some money to help yourself. The president came back home, collected his books, his receipts, his balance sheets, and he took to them. They opened and analyzed our expenditure, things we spend on. They also looked at our revenues, the revenues we collect, and then here they have now given a very serious verdict, telling him that his country is running on vibes and loans, and he cannot be given extra money unless he goes and raises the revenue, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, it is because of that necessity that the infamous finance bill was generated, Mr. Speaker. Because the president has nothing else to do. Mr. Speaker, therefore, why do I say all those stories regarding similar things that looks similar with this? It's because, Mr. Speaker, this finance bill is of late becoming a confrontation thing, and we are supposed to check whether what has happened to our country before and what is going to happen to us is going to be in tandem. So, Mr. Speaker, I think I am in agreement with the members who are saying that we need to do something on this bill. And because I have already said the National Treasury is struggling to sustain its commitment, just like our county treasury is struggling to raise its own source revenue. So when we see the own source revenue related bill, we are supposed to treat it with a lot of concern, Mr. Speaker. That is why the amendment made by our honorable members might not favor us as a county, Mr. Speaker. So, Mr. Speaker, you know, despite having an immense potential areas like quarry, livestock, land rates, and local business, everybody in this house knows that we are barely raising only 200 million in a county where we have a population of almost 1.5 million. That is a very small amount of money. One will wonder, why are we not able to raise better amount than that, Mr. Speaker? Mr. Speaker, I want to tell this house that our survival as county depend entirely, we are depending on national equitable share from the national government alone. We are not able to raise our own money as the county. And so, if someone will ask, for example, in future, if we will be told, raise your own money by the national government, what can we do as a county government? I think the answer to that is in this finance bill. If we are not serious with our finance bill, where we are able to create our revenue, then, Mr. Speaker, we are going to find ourselves in problem in future. So we must be very serious in terms of finding ways to grow as a county. So, Mr. Speaker, the finance bill is not just numbers on papers, but it is about making Mandera to stand on its own feet, Mr. Speaker. So please let us not see finance bill as punishment. This is a very important thing that will make us to grow as a county, Mr. Speaker. Therefore, Mr. Speaker, while making that report, I have went through this, the observation of the committee, and I found out that during the review, the committee has made some necessary amendment. I don't want to say it is unnecessary, because maybe they have considered the views of the people and they have made some amendment. And Mr. Speaker, I think this And when I look at that bill, I have read that bill, and that bill has taken into account a lot of economic realities of our county. It has also balanced a lot of social welfare and financial prudence. So tampering with the way it is now will only weaken our ability to deliver services to our people. So, Mr. Speaker, we should not allow to reopen to amend this bill because it has already been analyzed very well and it is balanced well. I have never seen all my time in this assembly a finance bill that was analyzed and balanced like the way the finance bill we have in this house today. So, Mr. Speaker, I cannot say the members have mutilated, but they have a little bit tampered. And if I say that, if you look at page 17, 18, and 19, you see there are issues that were removed, like scrapping tender fees charge of 2.5%, which is very risky, Mr. Speaker. Secondly, there are issues like agricultural produce, sales, fruit, and vegetables, which are also reduced. They have not scrapped completely, but they have received reduced amount. There are charges like royalties and quarry, charges on public health department and building plans, which are also removed. Mr. Speaker, I think those things ought not to be removed, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I want to finish my remarks by saying, just like what our president have done, development does not come from the fear of criticism, Mr. Speaker. I know the chair of this committee is a honorable member for Asabito. And this guy, I know him as a person who loves the public so much. Maybe him and his committee, with their own wisdom, they have considered things like criticism in the public, and then they have made that changes. But I want to tell development cannot come from the fear of criticism, but it comes from courage to do what is right, like the way our president, Dr. William Samoei Ruto, has done. We're already realizing development in Kenya just because of the tough decision he has taken without considering the criticism of the public. So, my brothers, if anything that you have considered is criticism, let's care. Because I know the people will going to realize the trust of the government will eventually grow once the people see taxes they collect are building real changes in future. Mr. Speaker, I also want to say raising revenue is the only sustainable path to self-reliance for Mandera. We are in a very critical position, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I want to tell, this is my final remarks, sorry. History will judge us not by how loudly we complain, but how bravely we act. That court should be the court of the day. We should not care about complaint. We should care about how we act so that our people will go into grow in future. Mr. Speaker, I want to say that Mandera County Assembly, the third county assembly of Mandera, should be remembered as assembly that chooses responsibility over mere rhetorics. We should choose responsibility because we have a physical responsibility and electoral responsibility to be in this house, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I want us to be remembered as assembly that chooses stability over short-term applauses. Maybe if the people of Mandera today heard that we have reduced some charges of levy, they will clap for us, but that is going to be a clap temporary. It won't help us for stability, Mr. Speaker. Finally, I want to tell this house that we should be remembered as assembly that chooses development over populism. So, Mr. Speaker, with that few remarks, I want to say this. There are two things here, just like the member for Guticha has alluded. We have two important documents before us. We have a report of the Committee on Finance Bill that requires adoption, and we have the Finance Bill itself, which we are going to pass this afternoon. So my request to honorable members, why we are making all these necessary points is to make you understand. We are making a very critical thing that is going to help our people in future. My friend, what I want to urge the House is that let us adopt, the word is let us adopt the report, but please let us pass the finance bill without amendment this afternoon. Thank you so much, Mr. Speaker.